Are you one of those people where it just does not want to work? It does not want to seem to work out with the whole Instagram. You don't seem to grow. The advice that you get, whether it's from me or from some other people who have a lot of other great content, by the way, just does not seem to work for you. Are you one of those people? If yes, if you're like Nina, who followed every advice that I ever gave for years, and her reach has never been worse. It seems like for her specifically, the things have gotten worse since she started to watch my stuff. Anyway, if you're one of those people, I'm gonna tell you my thoughts about why you don't grow on Instagram, why nothing works for you, and what you can actually do to become Insta famous coming up. Welcome back, Dominators. My name's Dominic. If you're new here, just follow me here, subscribe on YouTube. We talk about social media marketing, about building your personal brand, about monetizing your Instagram, and just stuff like this. We talk about the Instagram algorithm quite a lot. Also, we do some live reviews of your channels, of your Instagram accounts, mainly here on YouTube Live. But anyway, the most common thing that I see when people tell me, oh, I don't know, I'm doing everything right, but it just doesn't want to work with me. Does it work here? Because sometimes you guys say the camera's shaking. Is the camera shaking? So I forgot what I wanted to say, but basically the most common thing that I see with people that say, oh, I do everything right, but it just doesn't seem to work. Am I doomed? What's going on? The algorithm is against me. The most common thing, my friends, is that you don't even see it yourself, that you're doing everything wrong. And really, this is actually the most common thing. So my advice for everybody that watches this video right now is approach your whole Instagram strategy from an outside view. You know, be critical. Really take a look, whip out your phone, take a look at your Instagram profile and really think, if you were somewhere else, if you were not yourself, if you were not biased, if this profile that you're looking at right now, maybe some LSD helps. Who knows? Not that I want to condone these kinds of things, but yeah, I've read some studies. If this was somebody else, would you really think it's that great? Would you really think it's perfect and there's nothing you can do? Sometimes, for example, I get a lot of DMs. And sometimes, you know, I can't promise, but sometimes I not only reply, but sometimes I check out their profile if they say, could you take a look over at my profile? And usually, if they even do the right thing, they're just barely scratching the surface. You know, a lot of people just half-assing stuff with their Instagram growth, with the things that they hear, you know, here on this channel or on other channels. You know, for example, they don't use hashtags the right way. They just always use hashtags, the same hashtags. It seems like they're just copying hashtags and some super, you know, obvious hashtags that probably don't work. And, you know, most common thing is actually that their content just does not look professional. You know, usually it does not look like something that people actually want to consume, you know. And don't forget that, my friends, this is actually one thing that makes or breaks your whole social media strategy, whatever platform it is. There's actually a distinction between a creator and a consumer. There has to be a clear line between that, you know. What are you? Are you a creator? Are you a consumer? And how does your profile appear to other people who come to you? Do they instantly know, first of all, what you're about, what's up? Also, do they instantly know whether you're actually a professional creator? Doesn't matter how many followers you have or not, you know? And, you know, this is why I kind of love our Instagram live reviews here, because whenever we pull out a profile, all the people in the comments section, all the people in the chat box that watch, they tell you if you get reviewed, what's their first impression. And a lot of the times, you can actually see it if you watch the replays or something, that people actually don't know whether you're actually professional or not, or whether you're actually a creator. It's kind of harder on Instagram, I give you that, than on YouTube, for example. Because on YouTube, this whole distinction is a lot clearer. Because let's just say somebody gives you a comments down in your video on YouTube. You click on their profile, you see their YouTube profile, and instantly you recognize whether this is a lurker, a consumer, or a creator. How? It just looks a lot more professional. And this gets me actually right into point number 2, is that you simply did not grind enough, my friends. You know, I hate to break it to you, but it's actually a lot more work than you might think. And sometimes if you guys DM me, or if you guys tag me on Instagram, and sometimes I take a look at your stuff, like I said, sometimes I write back some video answers, some video chat, and sometimes I call and make a video chat with with some of you guys. Actually, a lot of times people tell me, well, the main reason I go into Instagram, or the main reason why I went to pick Instagram as my platform, was because it's not that much work. The entry level, the entry barrier is a lot lower than, let's just say, on YouTube, for example. And this, my friends, is the wrong way to go about it. You know, obviously, it's probably a little bit less work than on YouTube, just because YouTube, let's just say you have to cut the video. This video probably takes 2 hours to cut or more, just like this. On Instagram, you know, mostly it's easier content, but still, it doesn't mean that you don't have to grind. You can, if you really are serious about Instagram growth, you have to put out content a lot more frequently than on YouTube, you know? Just grind it out. And I tell you, you wouldn't believe how much work it is for all of us creators. I'm not even talking about YouTube, because that's another beast. But just on Instagram, when I started out, what kind of work, what kind of grind that was. Thinking about captions, you know, because it's so important. Thinking about a feed theme. Thinking about content ideas that are kind of unique, and thinking about your audience and what you want to portray, and then putting it all together, kind of finding a time to actually batch create content and, you know, work on your content strategy and stuff like this. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of headspace. And yeah, I see it. A lot of you guys just don't seem to want to put in that work. And with that mindset, probably not going to work out anyway. I'll just tell you how it is. And here's the thing. If you watch my other videos, especially about the Instagram algorithm, you might know that it's all about content quality. You know, if I were to tell, you know, if somebody asked me, what's the number one thing that I should get into? What's the number one thing that I should focus on right now? It's content quality. Because the algorithm tracks quality content. And if you have quality content, you kind of, let's just say this is what the algorithm considers quality content. You have to get there first, and then get the signals in there, and then it starts recommending yourself to other people. If your content is subpar, it kind of plays around with everything else as well. Like, you know, you not being a creator, you not being perceived as a professional creator just because your content just looks kind of subpar. And it's not only about the picture quality, image quality. It's about more than that. It's about the captions. It's about your whole message that you have in there. It's about your profile, how well that's optimized and stuff like this. By the way, if you want to learn a little bit more about these things, about optimizing your profile, about, you know, figuring out a content strategy and stuff like that that actually works, down below there's a free training, totally free. Just sign up right now, and yeah, go through the lessons. There's even a free PDF for pre-created hashtags that are highly performing. Another mistake that I see people make quite a lot is actually replicating huge channels, replicating huge influencers, huge Instagrammers. And don't get me wrong, because I know it. You guys are good kids. You watch my videos. And usually I say, well, competitor research is really, really important. You have to know your competition. You have to know your niche. You know, in and out. You have to know what's going on there. You know why? You know, if you're new here, because if you do competitor research, especially if you start out, you get pre-validated data that you can use for yourself. You can see, okay, this kind of content works best. This kind of thing works better. And then you can kind of use things and start doubling down on something. Now, the huge mistake that I see a lot of people make is actually they do competitor research, but they mainly do competitor research with huge brands, with huge influencers, with millions of followers and stuff like this. People replicate their content of those huge influencers, the way they talk, you know, the relationship, kind of like the dynamics that they have going on with your audience, their monetization tactics even. You know, obviously somebody who has millions of followers is gonna have a lot easier time to sell some merch to their millions of followers as opposed to somebody who has just $1,000, you know, even though you might be able to make quite a lot of money with just 1,000 followers as well, but just with other strategies. And by you just taking a look at those huge people that have already an established audience, where kind of the rules are being made, they kind of make their own rules, but only for their own kind of microcosm. Is that the way that you say it? These things might not necessarily work for you, and they probably won't. This is why, if you do competitive research, start from the bottom. Try to find some emerging creators, emerging people who are just a little bit bigger than you and that you can see have real growth going on, that have some sort of uptick right now, where you can see something's happening. Another big point, my friends, dominators, is actually that you don't utilize video content for yourself, okay? And this goes right back into point number 2 or something, where a lot of you guys said, oh, I don't want to put too much effort into Instagram because it's, especially with IGTV's monetization feature being right around the corner, it kind of makes a lot more sense now more than ever to actually go into video content, and that has multiple reasons why. First of all, the monetization thing, it's kind of nice to get some whatever. If it's just $100 every month, better than nothing. But also because of the algorithm and of your audience, which connect, by the way, because the Instagram algorithm actually looks out for people who relate with your content, who relate with you as a person, with your profile. And it actually tracks the depth of relationship with your audience. How do I know that? By the way, we have some videos about this very topic here on this channel. Here's the thing. We're not only talking about posts and video posts and IGTV posts. If you're like, I don't know if I want to go into that. There's a feature called Instagram Stories. And there you have it, kind of comes full circle. You can make video content with almost no effort because that's the way it was designed. No effort, just on the same level, just no production quality mostly. And it's just unfiltered content, which is why, in my opinion, stories are super powerful and you should utilize them more than anything else, if you ask me. Obviously, right now, it's kind of hard to grow with just using stories because the organic reach and discoverability is kind of hard for stories right now. They're trying to make it better. You can get your stories featured in the Explore page, for example, but that happens not so much, actually. Focus on stories. Focus on people actually getting to know you, getting to know your mannerisms, getting to know the way you talk, getting the way your voice sounds. By the way, I heard if your voice is kind of soothing, people love to listen to creators a lot more. Best creators kind of have a nice voice. That's what I heard on some study recently. But yeah. And lastly, my friends, and I just have to say it because there's always so many new people coming here. By the way, hello, you, if you're new here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I just have to say it. It's because you have some algorithmic penalty going on in your account. Okay, what does that mean if you're new here? A lot of people could still do all the things right that we talked about right now, all of the things right, but still the dreaded Instagram algorithm just tells you, nope, no reach for this guy, no soup for you. And the algorithm might be against you for a million of different reasons, to be honest. Could be that you were using a bot. Could be that you were in engagement groups. Could be that you were doing some spams. Could be that you had some spammy link in the bio that's kind of on a blacklist or something like this. I've done videos about this. I'm going to continue to make videos about this in my free training down below. We talk about this, by the way. Yeah, it could be that even though you do everything right, you still have some algorithmic penalty going on. Now, a lot of people ask me, is it possible for me to get out of this penalty at some point, or out of this rut, if I have this penalty? And yes, let's just be really honest with you guys. Let's just be realistic. In 95% of the time, it's possible to get out of this, to restore your account to almost the same level as before if you were kind of shadow banned or stuff like this. Yeah, if you are, by the way, also in this free training, there's a method, a foolproof method that works almost 100% of the times to get out of the shadow ban. So, go down below, sign up for this free training, my friends. And yeah, I'll see you in some live stream in a few days, I guess. I hope so. It's been a lot of fun. And I'll also see you on Twitch. Anyway, my name is Dominik, if you're new here. And yeah, I'll see you later, guys. It's the endings. Bye, my friends. Bye.